Chinese Premier Wen Jiabao visits Malaysia on Wednesday, and before her visit, our correspondent Xiao Xiaowai interviewed the country's former Prime Minister Tan Dr. Mahathir bin Mohamad on the issue of bilateral relations between China and Malaysia. Mahathir was the fourth Prime Minister of Malaysia. He held the post for 22 years, making him the country's longest-serving Prime Minister, and his political career spanned almost 40 years. As Prime Minister, Mahathir was credited with engineering Malaysia's rapid modernization and economic growth.
Dr. Mahathir, China Premier Wen Jiabao will be visiting KL tomorrow on Wednesday. And you have met with him last time. What's your impression on him? This time you will also meet him. And what's your expectation on the meeting?
Well, I find that he is very concerned about the people of China, and he's also very concerned about the perception of China by the rest of the world. He is a very international kind of person who I think is very concerned that development in the world benefits all segments of the world, the rich and the poor. And of course, I can see that he is very keen to see that China catches up with the developed countries and become a very strong nation.
Could you give some advice on how Malaysia-China bilateral relation and cooperation could be further improved? And what role you think China should play in this part of the world?
I think we should facilitate trade and investment. Of course, in China, investment laws differ from that in Malaysia. We would like to invest in China because China is a big market, but at the same time, China also should invest in Malaysia. That way we will benefit, both sides will benefit. And of course, if the systems in China and Malaysia are about the same, then that will facilitate trade, investments and relations between the two countries.
Dun, the Trans-Asian Railway is now gradually in its shape. How will it affect the relations between Malaysia and China, and even between China and ASEAN?
It will bring the two countries closer together, physically closer together, because then travel would be much easier, and goods can be transported from China to Malaysia, Malaysia to China, and people of course will have an opportunity to meet each other and to develop personal relationship between Chinese people and Malaysian people. And of course for Southeast Asia, the fact is that if you reach Malaysia, from Malaysia to communicate to reach the other ASEAN countries is very easy. So the railway will facilitate travel and movement of goods between China and the ASEAN countries.
The South China Sea issue is now the hot topic on local newspaper. The local media say Premier Wen Jiabao will negotiate this issue with Prime Minister Najib. What's your attitude and opinion on this issue?
I think all the countries involved, the ASEAN countries as well as China, should negotiate and settle on the criteria for the claims, and then of course we should together support each other so that there will be no conflict in the South China Sea.